card in Saudi Arabia this weekend. Man, I don't even know where to start. Let's start with the main event. This is Paulie malignaggi for Paulie TV. What's going on? Anthony Joshua takes on Otto Wallin in the main event of a blockbuster card this weekend in Saudi Arabia. Granted, okay, we have a lot of big names. They're not fighting each other. They're also not fighting in bad fights. And listen, some guys, such as Dmitry, Bivol, and Philip, listen, they deserve to be fighting in general because they're among the top fighters in the world, and they've been kept out of action for absolutely no apparent reason, as far as no good reason to me. You know what I mean? Those are guys that should be busy. They're good for boxing, and they're good for themselves. Let's talk about Joshua and Wallin first. Listen, Joshua and Wallin is a pretty good fight, you know, and it's a fight that is interesting to me because you're trying to make Joshua and Wilder, right, in the spring, according to the rumors we're hearing. But yeah, I don't think Wilder and Joshua were in complete gimme fights either. Wallin is a guy who obviously is more known for the loss he had to Tyson Fury, the only loss of his career, and a loss in where he looked good. He's a heavyweight southpaw, which are, I guess, they're more common now in this generation with a lot of Eastern Europeans being southpaws. But in general, you don't see as many southpaw heavyweights, right? So I don't know, man. You know, I thought it was an interesting pick for Joshua to pick as the opponent, or Joshua's team to pick Wallin as the opponent here, because he's a southpaw and he's getting ready for Wilder, who's not a southpaw himself, right? So Wilder's not getting out of the southpaw himself. I don't know what you get out of fighting Wallin, man. I mean, I'm happy for Wallin. I feel like he should get more opportunities, especially he's got the win over Garcia as well. Garcia tried to campaign a heavyweight after having a good cruiserweight career, one of the best cruiserweights of that generation of cruisers when he was around, where Usyk won that tournament and beat Garcia in the World Boxing Super Series final. So Garcia was known as a good puncher at cruiserweight, and Wallin ended up beating him. So it's a good win for Wallin. Probably the most recognizable name on his record, aside from the loss to Tyson Fury, of course. The most recognizable win. So coming into the Joshua fight, he wants to be more known as a guy who can win at this level, more so than a guy who can make the top guys look bad. And Joshua hasn't looked stellar in a while, right? He's been winning. He's been keeping more active than some of the big names like Wilder, for example. But at the same time, you wonder, what can he handle a guy like Wallin who specializes in making you look bad? And can Wallin also do a little bit more than just make a big name look bad? Is this the fight where he could actually pull off the upset and win? I think that it's in the cards, at least, because Joshua's not looking at his best. He doesn't look his most confident. And Wallin is here with the big moment in his career where he's probably thinking, this is my chance to actually insert myself into the mix. But I also think Wilder tends to, I also think Joshua tends to get up for these kind of moments too. If you remember the Usyk rematch, people are going to remember he lost the Usyk rematch. But at the same time, he got up for the Usyk rematch, bro. I mean, that was not an easy win for Usyk in the rematch. He fought well. He fought disciplined. And remember, Usyk is a southpaw. So I think also having had the experience with those two fights with the southpaw, Usyk may be just enough to edge it for Joshua. But I expect a competitive fight, and I expect Wallin to show his value again. It's just, can he get a decision even if it's close enough for him to get it? Considering what's on the horizon for Joshua and Wilder possibly fighting each other, which leads me into the Wilder and Parker fight. Listen, Wilder, I don't think this is a gimme fight for Wilder either. Wilder hasn't been that active. He fought maybe one round in 2 years, the knockout of Hellenius. He wasn't really that good of a boxer to begin with. He knows how to set up his 1 and his 1-2 very beautifully, and he's got a very strong 1-2.
Watch out, pothole on road ahead.
Joshua knows how to set up his 1 and his 1-2 very well. It's pretty much what he's been most known for, so he's kind of a one-trick pony, but it's a strong trick, as my teammate at ProBox TV, Chris Algieri, was mentioning to me earlier today. It is a strong trick. If he's a one-trick pony, it's a difficult trick to get by. But I also think Parker is not your typical heavyweight in that he's defensively responsible. He's not just a sitting target, and he also knows how to counterpunch. He knows how to box pretty well. So it's not going to be as easy for Wilder to just set him up, crack him with that 1-2 and end the night. I think Parker, if he's hungry at all, and Parker is only 31 years old, which I hadn't even really realized until earlier today, that Parker's still only 31 years old. If Parker's any kind of hungry at all against a 38-year-old Wilder, there's an opportunity here for Parker to pull off the upset as well, because Wilder, again, I don't think he can box as well as Parker. And I think if Wilder has trouble setting up that 1 and 1-2, which I believe Parker is crafty enough to cause those problems, it could also be Parker causing problems. You know, it's an interesting card here because you expect Joshua and Wilder to fight and win, right? And you want that, and everybody's thinking about, oh, they're finally going to fight each other. Which personally, I don't even care for the fight that much, honestly, anymore. You know, if the fight doesn't happen when it's supposed to happen, I personally don't care if it happens anymore. But I definitely would like to see the right thing get done this weekend, where if Parker and Wallin come out where they deserve a victory, or if they even go the distance, that is, you know, that there's no shenanigans that will be pulled. I think Parker and Wallin personally will fight very respectably and put up a good account of themselves, but come up short. I think with Joshua and Wilder will happen, but I also think that it's going to take a real focus and a real effort from both guys. I don't think these are gimme fights and these are gimme opponents for them. You know, the Saudis, you know, this was supposed to be the night that they made Usyk against Fury, and obviously with Fury not looking great in the Ngannou fight, it ended up pushing that back, and this date kind of remained open, and they got kind of a big blockbuster show here. You know, Dmitry Bivol comes back. You know, I feel like the politics have kept him out of action for a while, unjustifiably, after being Fighter of the Year in 2022. There's no excuse for that. Filip Hrgović, who became the #1 contender for one of the heavyweight titles after a big win over Zhang, close and competitive win over Zhang. Zhang ends up becoming the opponent for Joyce and beats him twice. And Hrgović is sort of just kind of laying in limbo. You know, and that was the guy that had the win over Zhang. So, again, I don't understand what comes up with boxing at times. I think Hrgović and Bivol are both guys that are very, very good fighters that deserve to be in the mix and should be talked about more among the mix in their respective weight classes, especially at the heavyweight division, especially with Hrgović in it. You know, everybody keeps talking about this. Everybody's overplaying the whole Wilder-Joshua thing. You know, you got guys like Zhang in the heavyweight division. You got guys like Hrgović in the heavyweight division. You got Fury and Usyk coming up. I don't understand what's with the obsession of when a fight is past its prime, when a fight is past expiration date, like for me, like Wilder and Joshua is. I don't understand why you have to keep trying to push it. You know, there could be so many possible different matchups here made out of this show. You know, it's interesting because what do? Hrgović deserves a title fight because Hrgović is the mandatory contender, but he's obviously not going to get it with Fury and Usyk doing the unification. So what does he do? If he can't even hope to win on this card and then get the winner, get either Joshua or Wilder, because now they're going to probably look to make Joshua and Wilder after this fight, which again is a fight that makes no sense to me. I'd rather see Hrgović in with one of them, who's a hungry guy and who continues to, you know, remain a dangerous guy in the heavyweight division and is creeping up on a title shot himself. I think Wilder and Joshua are past their primes. They're still good. They're still dangerous, especially Wilder with that big power. But it's not the interesting fight it was before. So I don't know. It just doesn't do anything for me. The card itself, though, does a lot for me. This card itself, because it's got these interesting little tidbits, it does a lot for me. You know, we got that cruiserweight. What's his name? Apataya. You guys know his name. He's a pretty good cruiserweight. Might be the best cruiserweight in the world right now. He's fighting as well. Good card, man. A good card. So, certainly, it's something that boxing typically doesn't give us this late in the year. Typically, after about the 18th to the 20th of December, boxing is done for the year, right? Sometimes we get like a New Year's Day card every once in a while. But honestly, boxing's doing it big this year. We got this big Saudi card on the 23rd. And then next week, we got Naoya Inoue fighting in Japan as well against Topolis, you know, in that unification. So boxing's all year round, man. There's no seasons over here. Let me know what you think in the comment section, man. Let me know what you think of this card. Let me know, are you interested in Wilder and Joshua? Would you rather see them fight separate guys? Or do you guys really want to see them fight each other? And what do you guys think of the chances Parker and Wallin have against them? You know, oh, man, and what about Jarrell Miller and Dubois? For me, that's crazy. That's another heavyweight fight. What about Hrgović against the winner of Jarrell Miller and Dubois? Now, that could be something. Bro, not to mention, I don't understand. Am I losing my mind? Why is Jarrell Miller a plus 260 underdog? I think Jarrell Miller wins this fight against Dubois. I don't know what you guys think. I don't know what my British followers will think, because I know you guys are probably higher on Dubois. I think Dubois is a good fighter. He's a big puncher. I just don't see him having the biggest heart in the world. And Miller kind of molds you. He's kind of a big guy who knows how to press you. Okay, he's probably not the same without the PEDs, but he's still a guy who knows his way around the ring well. As far as he's done kickboxing, he's done boxing. He's a born fighter. He's very comfortable in that. I wouldn't say knows his way around the ring well, but he's comfortable in there, and he knows how to make you uncomfortable. You know, and he's comfortable in an uncomfortable fight. And I don't know, man. I could see him making Dubois' life really miserable, man. I was really surprised to see those odds, because I kind of lean towards Dubois to win that fight. I mean, not Dubois, Jarrell Miller to win that fight over Dubois. Let me know what you think of that fight, too. I almost forgot about that, man. That's what I'm saying. There's so many interesting fights and tidbits on this Saudi card that, you know, you almost forget. You know, so it should be a good show. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Like, comment, subscribe, guys. I appreciate you guys taking the time to listen to me. Paulie Malignaggi here for Paulie TV. Let me know what you think of the whole show.